hops on.
Okay, cool.
Go ahead.
Good morning, guys. Happy Sunday. I am so excited. I'm here live with Catherine. We'll see if anybody else jumps on, but I am super, super excited. It is Sunday, and to be honest, I drank a little bit of Energize right before this because I was like, I need it. So I cannot wait for Monday. So for those of you guys that are going to be joining us, this is where the VIP access launches for Lift 4, which is the newest program combining lifting with HIIT exercises together, and it's a shorter workout. So I'm really, really excited. 4 days a week, 3 days of rest. We're kind of doing our own thing on those 3 days, having one built-in cheat day, which is going to be on Sunday, priming us for energy for our workouts on Monday. So for those of you guys that have any questions, concerns, anything about that, please make sure that you reach out, because we want to make sure that you guys are ready to roll on it. I've already gone through the meal plan. I've decided what bracket that I want to be on. I've ordered my creatine. So this is the first time that I'm actually going to be using it on a regular basis for an entire program. I did it a little bit with Prep Up for Classic.
What made you decide to add creatine in?
I want to build muscle at this point. Because I'm going to be doing Classic again this next year. This is what we call our build season, or we don't use the word bulk because we don't get bulky. That's one thing that Joel's been really emphasizing, that it's not bulking, it's building. But after leaning out so far, there is some muscle loss that I've had since Classic, and I want to now build muscle, and then I'm going to be leaning that up. So that's where I decided to do that. Plus, it's something that Joel has recommended to do if you're looking to build muscle during this program. So I figured I'm just going to go all in with everything that he recommends. So yeah, decided what meal plan that I'm going to be on. And I'm excited because I think I might have my husband doing the program with me.
Yay, Joe!
He might not start on day one with me. He might be a couple weeks behind, but he's been doing some workouts with me. He hates it, and he sweats like it's disgusting, but it's exciting to see him do so, get some progress with it. So
I just want to say, I swear guys' sweat is disgusting. Like, I don't know why. Like, I feel like my sweat smells so much better than Danny's sweat. Like, guy sweat is so nasty. Anyway, yeah. Go on. Yeah. I just had to,
I don't know how he sweats like he does. I mean, I know that there's times where I do sweat a lot, but not like that. Like, it drips off of him, which is exciting to see, because for me, I feel sometimes sweat is an indicator of, and this is not always true. This is just a belief or limiting belief that I have, because sometimes if I feel like I don't sweat, then I haven't done enough. And so seeing him like really sweat and kick ass, then I feel like, yeah, he's doing a lot of work. So
it's a good way to release toxins. Sweating definitely releases a lot of toxins. So it's good to see that, because
he needs it.
That's nice. Yeah. I wasn't going to say it, but yeah.
Okay. So the other thing I want to jump into is just answering any questions or concerns. This was a question or a conversation that I had come up with Heather, which is one of my coaches and challengers. And she recently, and I feel bad because I can't remember what it is. It's something in her foot, ankle, that leg, lower leg area. She's broken it. She had surgery. I think it was last week, Monday. And she is immobile at this point. So she and I were talking about nutrition, and this is really going to be the time where, if you have that injury, really diving into, and not necessarily injury, but even surgery or just anything where it's going to limit your mobility or your ability to do the workouts. That's when you really need to dive into your nutrition that much more. So for me, I can tell you that's where my fitness journey really started was when I had elective plastic surgery and I was immobile for, I think, 8 weeks. I couldn't like lift anything heavier than a shoe. Like, that's not lifting anything. And that's where I personally saw that weight gain so much more than just if I was doing my normal everyday eating and my drinking and all of that, because that adds calories too. So this is when you need to lean in to your meal plan, whether you're doing the containers, whether you're doing 2B mindset, and really staying spot on with it. And then also what we can do with any of the supplements that we have. So Heather, this is going to be directly towards you, but if anybody else is having any of these issues, this is going to be for you guys too. So for one, making sure that you're consistent with your Shakeology every single day. One thing Catherine suggested is having it first thing in the morning, because that's really going to get your body going on the right path in the morning. Also, I always recommend drinking, I mean, they say drink 16 ounces of water first thing in the morning, right when you wake up. I try to drink a full, this is 25 because I can't find my 2B cup that's 30 ounces, but I try to drink a full thing of that before I ingest anything else, because that's going to kickstart your body going in the right direction. So Shakeology for one, every single morning. And then for two, one thing that I also add to my shake every single day helps with my digestion, and it's really going to help if you're having any of those gut issues, is adding that digestive boost. Now, Shakeology already has those pre and probiotics and prebiotics. Yeah. It already has all those good stuff for your gut health. Digestive boost adds that so much more. So it's almost the same formulation that is part of the 3-day refresh that I actually just completed and is one of the drinks. So that just gives me that extra health in my gut that much more. If you're having a hard time getting those nutrients into your body, so Heather mentioned she's having a hard time eating, she's losing muscle weight and body weight, and not necessarily in a good way. So adding in a scoop of the Power Greens, that's one of our Shakeology boosts that we have as well. Adding in a scoop of that, or even two scoop, correct me if I'm wrong, Catherine, 2 scoops count as 1 green container?
I think, yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
You can add 1 scoop if you feel like it. I've heard that it can make the taste really strong, of like dirt, you know. So if you're not used to that, and if it's something that bothers you, do 1 scoop. Honestly, anything helps, you know.
Yeah.
So
also on the Power Greens too. So there's 2 different cleanses that we have. One is the 3-day refresh, and then one is the ultimate reset, which is a 21-day cleanse. The Power Greens is actually one of the, you actually drink that, I want to say, throughout the whole 21 days, and just adding it with 4 ounces of water for, I think, is a scoop size. So that's also, I mean, it's also one of the things that we have on our cleanses. So why not add to your daily routine to start getting those nutrients into your body? The other thing that she mentioned that we talked about, and this is so true, is adding Energize to your daily routine, even if you're not working out, because we all know when we drink it, it makes everything start moving along in there.
I was telling Leah that that's like my routine. I drink my Energize, like, I'm going to wait for my food to digest right now, but like, I drink my Energize, and as I'm drinking it, I kind of move around the house and I start cleaning because I do that. But after I'm done with my Energize, by the time I'm done with it, it has stimulated my bowel, and I have to poop before my workout every single time. Every single time. It has like I can change the time of day I poop by when I drink my Energize. Like, it happens when that happens. So like literally every time. I was telling Leah, I had pretty regular bowel stuff before I started drinking before Shakeology came into my life, but it was relatively fine. You know, Shakeology helped with other aspects aside from my bowel regimen, but Energize, like, it just kind of forces it's like, okay, like, it wakes up my bowel and everything's like, all right, like, let's get it all out. She's got to work out, so she can't jump with that stuff in there holding her down. So that's a great, just that's what Leah and I were talking about. Just sip on a little bit of that. You don't need to take 2 or 3 scoops like Leah and I do. Just 1 or a half a scoop. And all it does is that caffeine can help stimulate the bowel. So that's just an option for people that are, having trouble with their bowel movements. They're not able to move a lot. My first thing would be hydrate and move. Working out can help, exercise can help. But if you don't have that option, like, right now, this season with our team, Heather and my one of my ladies, Jerry, they both have injuries. So that's a good way for you guys to, keep it going. Yeah.
And then the last recommendation that I have is if you are on the opposite, where you're not getting backed up, where it is flowing too much for you, then you're going to be losing a lot of those fluids, a lot of those electrolytes in your body. So making sure, for one, you're drinking a shit ton of water, even though it seems kind of backwards because it's all pretty much water. It feels like water coming out. You still want to make sure that you're replacing that water within your body. But then also adding, a scoop or 2 of hydrate, which is it's through the Performance line. I drink it when I work out. I also drink it when I'm not working out. I was sharing this with a couple of my teammates that if I go, to a social event, I did this at Catherine's birthday party. I was having my drink and half of it was Energize, half of it was hydrate. And that's my cocktail. So I can, I'm still having something other than water. When other people are drinking alcoholic drinks or something, I don't feel so left out. And it's also filling my body.
And to be honest, I probably should have done that because I felt super like sausagey and terrible. Hi, Joe. I felt sausagey in my fingers because like the margaritas we had, like they were super salty and like you can taste it, and the sugar and the salt and everything. I felt like so puffy, and I bet you Leah felt so much better the next morning compared to me because I didn't have all that salt and sugar in my body. So I felt pretty shitty.
Yeah. So that's the hydrate's going to replace those electrolytes that you're losing when you are having the runs go through your body. And it's going to be a better version than trying to drink Gatorade or anything else, that
and it's good for kids. This over the summer when kids are playing sports. It's basically like Gatorade, but without all the processed shit, the sugar and all the things that you can't pronounce. Hi, Joe.
Hi, bye.
Joe wants to say hi. I know he does. Hi, Joe. He wants some.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How you doing? Are you going to work?
I just got home from work.
Oh, wait, you're already home at 10:30?
He's on call.
I'm on call.
Oh, okay.
So phone call rang at 6:40.
Oh.
And then had to go to Altamont Rio to work Bohemian Grove.
Oh.
And then leave there, and I had my cooking tech call me and ask me to take a cooking call from him, and I told him no. Felt bad. Well, he's got stuck. The boss scheduled him in a 16-hour job today.
Oh.
So he's in Ukiah doing a bunch of ovens, and somebody in Petaluma called him. Was like, I don't know that oven. I don't have parts for that oven. You better wait until Monday.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Is it just you two?
Yeah, but we're recording, so it's going to be.
So don't be inappropriate.
I'm going to say sorry about your horse.
Oh, thank you.
Animals are hard to lose.
Yeah, it happened a little more suddenly than for anybody that doesn't know that's watching the recording. I had to put my horse down a few days ago. Yeah, it happened sooner than we were anticipating, but he, long story short, he had cancer and it had spread throughout his entire bowel. And he was so uncomfortable Thursday. I just couldn't validate. It's not for what for me to keep him alive a few more days. It's not fair. So
right. Yeah.
It happened sooner than I was hoping, but I'm okay. It'll be okay.
Good. All right, get back to your recording.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe. Sorry, go on. So hydrate, great for children. Hydrate, great, especially when you have diarrhea. It's really good to replace those electrolytes and that fluid for sure.
Yeah. Well, and also too, I mean, along the lines with kids. So, my kids are picky. They won't drink it because they're just like meh. But my kids are part of a running group that they're kids training to do a 5K coming up, and it is special needs and non-special needs kids. And I actually shared some hydrate with one of my girlfriends that is part of the group, and she has a son that has really what's the opposite of mild? Because I say mild autism, but I want to say high autism. But his autism is pretty bad. He's got major issues, and she has to really watch what she's feeding him along the
He's a
lines
little
of
higher
sugar.
on the spectrum.
He's really high on. He's
Yeah.
I mean, it's really bad. She's adopted him from. She fostered him for a little bit, but he was born with, I think, fetal alcohol syndrome. His mom was using drugs and stuff, so he's got some major issues. And she looked at the package of Hydrate and was comfortable giving it to him, whereas normally he drinks I'm not sure what, there's like Gatorade and Gatorade Zero or something where it doesn't have as much sugar, but she really liked the Hydrate, and he really liked the flavor. Like, and autistic kids can be really, and I mean normal kids can too, but can be really, really picky on what they consume.
With autism, like textures and flavors and the feel of things, again, textures, like, yeah, it's hard for them.
Even if it's in a different, and she put it in just a regular water bottle, whereas normally he drinks, out of the Gatorade water bottle. So I was even concerned that he wouldn't like it because it was in there. But, we just kind of went with it, and he took to it. And so, yeah, she loves it. Okay. There was a question that I had for you when we were talking about all of this. And because Heather is on some pretty heavy medication, narcotics, and my question was the narcotics combining with the Energize, like, how would that work? Would that kind of counterbalance the feeling? Because when you're on narcotics and you feel just like you're drugged, would that kind of help with the feelings that you're having? Would it not really have anything? How would that work? Because you're taking an upper with a downer.
Yeah. So because Energize and the performance line is plant-based, it won't have like an interaction. It won't have like a medication interaction, which is great because sometimes, like, if someone was drinking a Red Bull or a Monster instead, like they have, taking a narcotic could even like mask the signs of having like a little like heart flutter because due to the energy drink. So what I like about Energize and all of the performance line is that it's there are things that you can they're going to have low interactions with medications because like the only medication interaction I've ever heard with any of our products is certain chemotherapies with Shakeology. And it's because some of the ingredients in Shakeology help us generate cells. And the idea of chemo is to kill cells. So we don't want to stimulate cell generation quite yet. Our job in chemotherapy is to kill cells and then wait, and the idea is to kill all the bad cells. So that's the only interaction I've ever heard of, why some of our products could interact with any sort of medication. So what I like about it is that things that are plant-based, things that we, it's really nice. So it could have a counter effect. I mean, narcotics are very strong, depends on the amount that you're taking, depends on how sensitive you are to medications. It might be able to help you. I haven't tried mixing a narcotic with some Energize. Maybe one day I'll just woo in the backyard. But I'm Damon, I might have some Norcos in my counter, so I could give it a whirl. But yeah, you're gonna feel tired. So what it's nice is, take your nap or whatever, rest when the medication's at its peak state. But then yeah, to get yourself out of it, to wake yourself up, drink a little bit of Energize, stimulate your bowel, and then get moving, whatever you need to do. So it'll definitely help with that like hungover feeling. It can. Again, I haven't mixed them before, but again, if someone's worried about interaction, you don't have to worry about that. It's caffeine from green tea. It's not a synthesized caffeine that's going to cause heart palpitations. And I'm pretty sure Monsters have been now linked to causing valve defects and the valves in your heart. And that's like a major surgery. So I'm very much against energy drinks, like very much against it. I mean, you don't have to do Beachbody if you don't want to, but for the love of God, please don't drink energy drinks ever again. Anyway, so yeah, it can help with that, but you could start drinking Energize when the narcotic is at its peak state. And I think that might still help continue to stimulate the bowel motility and the movement. So that'll help too. And people that when they take narcotics, they tend to not drink very much water. I've noticed they're chronically dehydrated. So having that hydrate or having that Energize in your water kind of gives it a flavor, and it'll get you to drink more water. That's like mostly where my water intake comes from. I purposely have my Energize in my Shakeology cup and it's filled all the way because I literally won't drink that much water otherwise. So, and then same with Hydrate. I fill my Shakeology. Same with Recover. I fill it because that's literally the most water intake because I'm terrible with my water. So, and I don't say that proudly. It's a problem. But anyway, so yeah, that's going to be important is hydration when you're taking narcotics, if you have to for whatever. And yeah, I would definitely take Energize. It's a great way to kind of get out of that lull feeling when you're taking heavy drugs.
Yeah. Okay. So I think those are the only that covers everything that we had to recommend for Heather.
Yeah. Something this week. Oh, we wanted to touch on, because of, people have had injuries. As was mentioned with Joe, I lost my horse, 4 days ago. And, maybe we can touch on emotional eating and we can dive into this. Again, this could be like a whole call, but I'm really I took a few days. I felt bad for myself. I questioned my decision-making, whether you did something stupid and that's how you broke your foot or whatever. I questioned whether or not it was the right time for my horse. All of that, those emotions that go into losing something, losing an animal, losing a family member, losing your ability to move due to an injury, like whatever you have lost, the loss of freedom because you can't drive yourself somewhere to go pick up the healthy foods, whatever, life is hard. And, but I feel like I don't want to make life harder on myself by feeding myself shitty. And I do say that knowing that I ate ice cream yesterday. But in general, like this morning I had yogurt and fruit, and then Danny made like eggs and, hey, Rochelle. And then Danny made some like potatoes with a bunch of veggies in it. And I ate some of that for some carbs and veggies. So life is hard enough, and I don't want to make life harder on myself by, feeding myself poorly, because it's only going to continue to, pile up. And it's only going to continue to get worse. It's only going to go downhill. There's not going to be an uphill if you don't focus on that. So like my video in our team, our group yesterday, I'm, choosing to lean into our group. It doesn't always come naturally. And, I was quiet for a couple of days. But your nutrition, just like, this, I'm making an active choice to not live in this space of being sad and depressed and feeling sorry for myself. Oh my gosh, she's so cute. I just can't even function when she's on the screen. Hello, how are you, lovey?
Yeah. Sorry I'm late. I actually slept in this morning.
No, hey, sleep is really, really important. So yeah, we were just wrapping it up, Rochelle, with talking a little bit about emotional eating. Like a couple girls in our group, they have some injuries, that are limiting their mobility. You even talked recently about kind of getting yourself out of a slump, and I had to put my horse down Thursday night, and so we're just talking about just emotional eating. And I gave myself grace. I wasn't thinking too much about it. It wasn't really my priority the last couple days, but I'm getting back on it. I'm not going to live in that space. I'm not going to allow myself to live in that space or feel guilt or question myself anymore. And yesterday I worked out for the first time in 4 days. Today my goal is to shower and wash my hair. Small victories, because I think it's been legit.
Those are goals I have too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's been 5 days since I washed my hair, and it needs to be a priority number 1 or 2 today. I told Leah earlier. So I have showered. I just haven't washed my hair, just for the record. Anyway, But yeah, I'm making an active choice to choose not to be in that space anymore. I'm reading personal development. I woke up this morning and I'm listening to personal development. Danny's out there weeding. When we're done here, I'm going to go listen to that, drink my Energize, clean my house a little bit, do my routine. Routines do help with that, at least a little bit. Positive routines can get you back into that. If you slip into a negative routine, you can get back into that positive state. Rochelle's nodding her head frantically because that's what's been going on with her too. And she can talk about it too. It's just, it's kind of funny that everybody's going through some struggles in our group all together. It's interesting. Like Leah's like post competition, and that's like hard and kind of depressing because like your body changes quickly again because you're not eating the way you were. Like everybody's going through these like emotional things. And so I'm so grateful that I have you guys. I feel so grateful. Like Leah has been basically carrying the group the last few days because I just couldn't. But I worked out yesterday. Danny and I worked out together. I'm pretty sure the Lift 4 workouts are already loaded on demand. So I think I'm going to start today just because I'm so excited about it and I'm finally feeling positive today. So I might just allow myself to ride that positivity train as opposed to starting tomorrow. I have to dive in and read through the program and print the calendar and all that. But again, I'm just feeling excited about something for once. So instead of bringing myself down, I'm going to keep that energy up. I promised Leah I was going to be on this call. I'm purposely doing things throughout my day to keep my energy high. Instead of yesterday telling Leah, no, I'm not going to be on the call. I'm probably not going to feel it in the morning. Of course, I'm not going to feel it in the morning. I wake up with this heaviness in my chest as reality sets in that I no longer have my best friend. But I knew that I had this commitment. I made this commitment to her. So, and to you, to everyone. So I'm forcing myself to, and of course, I'm so glad that I'm on now. Leah and I talking about health and giving advice to people that have injuries or whatever. Speaking of injuries, a little Missy over there, she hurt her eye. And so I'm so glad that it looks better. I'm looking at her eye right now.
You can't even see. It's crazy. Like you can't see.
A dog, Leah, like a dog bit her eye.
So you can barely see any scarring there. She has, and she does scar here, but it's going away.
Yeah, it'll take a little bit of time. There's more vascularization on her eyelid, so that's why it's healing faster. So I'm so glad to see that because last week the pictures you sent me, I was like, oh, baby. So yeah, Phil can talk about emotional eating and Leah can too if you guys both want to touch on it, just in kind of how you're making the choice to not stay in that space, and it is a choice, it's a choice. And sometimes it feels like it isn't. And that's okay. You can live in that space and feel sorry for yourself and live in the space where you don't think you have a choice and it's just there forever. But then you can finally decide to make the choice to not stay in that space. And I did yesterday. I took the whole day I was at my house and I made that choice. Like, okay, this is it. This is going to be the last day. I'm going to try and move forward. I'm going to live in gratitude because I told Leah already, I think, the owners at the barn offered to pay for Tristan to be cremated. And that's at over $1,000.
Yeah.
They insisted. And of course I was like bursting into tears Friday morning. So he's going to come back to me. And so I get to either choose to keep him in my house or spread his ashes somewhere. So I'm just choosing today to, instead of live in the depression and, I'm choosing to live in the gratitude for all of you. And I'm choosing to live in gratitude for the time that I had. And, because the other day when I was at Davis, I watched another person pull up after we did, and their horse was colicking and it fell to the ground right there. And they had to put it down within an hour. I had a day or two plus the 8 days that he came home after he was initially at Davis. I did have more time. Even, I had a little more time than him, like as a desperate attempt to relieve him from pain, putting him down like they did to their horse. So I feel like I'm grateful that I saw that happen because then I remind myself, okay, I did have some time. It wasn't the amount that I wanted, but so I'm just explaining it to share with you guys, how I'm turning certain things into gratitude as opposed to feeling upset. So, I mean, if Rochelle or Leah want to wrap it up, say anything about that, emotional eating, how we're all going to battle it. We're not going to be perfect. Like I said, I ate ice cream yesterday and I'm not going to I'm like making sure I'm adding veggies into my stuff. I'm going to drink my shake after my workout. I'm going to work out, and for the love of God, I'm going to shower. So, just kind of, if you guys want to touch on how you're working on dealing with that, just emotions, because life is hard. But I feel like life is harder when I don't make those proper choices, because it comes with a lot of other things, when you make poor choices, like eating, whatever. So I don't know if Rochelle or Leah, if you guys want to touch on anything and how you're doing.
I think for me, I'm the opposite. Like when I get really bummed out, a lot of times I could go either way. I either start making unhealthy choices, or I just decide, you know what, I'm not going to eat anything because I've lost all my motivation. Stop for a second. I've lost all my motivation to do anything healthy for myself. Like once you get into that slump, it's really hard sometimes to get out of it. And even so, like, I'm sure Catherine, you feel it when you're in the hospital too. Sometimes you just have those days, Sylviana, I've asked you not to have that on my face now. Please stop. You have those days where it's just not going your way. You're trying to place catheters, things aren't going your way. The patients that you've been having hospitalized for 2-3 days that you put your whole heart into are having to be put down, things like that. And it definitely happens, and it affects everybody differently. And when I get really bummed out and then I have stuff like that going on, I shut down. Like my whole body just goes. Like my brain doesn't want to do anything. I'm done being, like, part of it was I was so tired of the way people treat each other, in this world. I'm so tired of it. It's horrible. People should be nicer to each other. And that's just me being my naive, the person that I want to be inside, but it's not the person that works really well in society, because that's not how society works. And so I was lucky that, sometimes the best thing you have is the people around you. And when I shut people out, like there are people that have known me for, like the people in my past have known me for a long time, and they can feel it, and they'll text me and they're like, so what's going on? Because you text me first a couple days ago, and you don't generally text me unless something you need to talk or something. And so I spent a couple hours talking with somebody who I don't normally talk with, and sometimes just somebody having that outside of the circle group really helps to do that communication with, because then you don't feel your judgment and stuff like that the same way you feel like it might affect the people close to you. And that little bit right there just kind of pushed me, like, okay, you can make it tomorrow. You can get through tomorrow. You've got this. Don't worry. And I spent my morning with my Energize. I did a lot of the normal things. I tried to keep my routine. I went to work and stuff like that. And then that night I was waiting for one of our new people who were closing up, and I was trying to help, and I was already on overtime. I'm like, well, it's already 20 minutes, let's see what we can do to help each other out. And it happened to be that one of the other employees that used to work there, she's worked there for 10 years, and I actually really adore her. She actually works for the San Francisco Zoo now. She came in and she was having a tough time. She's going through a divorce and stuff like that, and she's got kids that are older. And we were just talking in the parking lot, and she goes, well, let's go. I'm going to go take a walk over, where Airport Road is off for Novato. There's a trail that goes around. It's like maybe 4 miles. And she goes, I've been doing this every day, for the last probably year since she started her divorce. And it was like perfect timing for me. And it threw me back into, and I ended up walking 7 or 8 miles that day. And so like my exercise just boosted. And like the first 2 days that I was really bummed out, I tried to work out. I did my hour workout and stuff like that, and I just wasn't feeling it still, like I was doing my routine, and I still felt down. And I think that's because I didn't have that communication zone between people, and I tend to just kind of be quiet when I'm, feeling that way, because I don't want anybody else to feel that way. I don't want anybody to have to go down that hole. It's not a fun one. It's not a rough one. And anybody who's been there knows sometimes how hard it is to pull yourself out of there too. And so then I was eating out, just for how easy it was, but I was still trying to find like healthy things to eat. And I think 1 or 2 of the days, like our doctor went to Flower Child and bought like desserts and stuff. And I was like, nope, I'm not going to eat that. I'm going to do good. I'm going to eat healthy. And I think I only had like maybe 1 bite of that. And then yesterday and the day before, I was trying to eat really healthy. I was trying to pull myself back up, not just from exercise, but from eating. And yesterday, actually, she worked out with me. We were doing, I did my normal workout with 80-day obsession. And then worked out with you. Yeah. And then we did, we found some Zumba ones through YouTube. And I needed that change of pace, I think, that change of routine. And I looked for Zumba, like a Zumba one in our Beachbody one, but it just wasn't quite the same for me.
I don't think they don't have a Zumba one yet. I would love that. I'm hoping that after Mes de Mas, like I'm hoping that maybe that same trainer that's doing Mes de Mas, I'm hoping that maybe she does a Zumba one. So when you get those surveys in your emails and they ask you to give feedback, they really do read those. If enough people are like, hey, like that would be a fun type of a class, kind of like size, but with more Zumba stuff, they're really great at listening to you. And you can tell your upline, like, you know, I've already mentioned a few things to Lindsay because she's on the coach advisory board. So, you know, Leah's coach Melissa is in contact with a lot of the corporate. So like if they hear that stuff, like things that they want, that would be a great option. And, you know, like, you know, Rochelle said, you know, just to hear like people treat each other poorly, you know, and that's why I'm spreading the word that like the owners of my barn they've only owned the property since October. They don't know me. They chose to, you know, pay for Tristan to be cremated. And that is such an amazing act of kindness. And so it's like, so it's the same thing. Like Rochelle can exactly like choose to hang out with people and hear stories and take away from that good, as opposed to focusing on the bad experiences you've seen or heard that day, you know? And so, yeah, it really is a choice, you know, it does.
People that are negative are so much louder than people that are positive. And so that's where we have to do our part to spread our positivity, be loud and proud about it, because we don't have to be ashamed for being happy.
Yeah.
There's so much stigma, honestly, against people that are being happy because they say, oh, you're being crazy.
And they're not stressed. Like you're supposed to be stressed, unhappy, and hate your job. Like it's the weirdest thing. It's like, and everyone's like, how are you doing? And I'm like, I actually love my job now. Like I wasn't going to stay in a job that I didn't like. So I love my job and I love saying that I love my job. And everybody goes, oh, that's so great. And they tilt their head and they look sideways like it's weird. And I'm like,
right.
I was like, yeah, I love both my jobs. Like I love all the jobs that I have. Like, and that's why I still do a bunch of them. You know, I still like watch my kiddos and stuff. And, you know, it's so weird. So we need to work hard at normalizing loving your job, loving your life, loving yourself for who you are in every season, in every phase, no matter what. So yeah.
And it's okay. I mean, and this is one thing that Tony Robbins said when we went to Unleash the Power Within is people, our biggest problem is we think that we shouldn't have problems. Like, just because I'm happy and positive doesn't mean I don't have problems, but I just have more tools now to deal with them. Catherine, I mean, I can say for me, I remember, and granted, a cat is like a horse. There is a lot more invested with a horse than a cat, but I had to put my cat down maybe 3 months after my youngest son was born, and I was a wreck. Okay, yes, I was dealing with postpartum things.
Well, that just piles on top of it, like dealing with postpartum and then having to lose your animal. Like, no, a horse and a cat, it's the same thing. Like your cat's with you for like 20 years. Horses are with you 20 years. I mean, it's horrible no matter what animal it is. It's horrible.
Well, this cat was a lot younger, but it got sick really fast. But I was honestly like more of a wreck then and I don't see Catherine, you know, all the time, and I know that she's grieving and going through her process, but like I would not have been able to jump on a call and show up for other people. I was a mess for a good month or so. Like I struggled to even take care of my baby at that time because of the guilt that I had for, you know, my not being a good cat mom. And so now
And it's different. You weren't doing this then, so that you didn't have the tools that we do now, and the tools that I do now, and and I'm forcing myself. It's not like it's, again, I just force myself to agree to do something that I know I will thank myself for after. Like working out. That's why Energize forces me to do my workout. So
can I share
before,
yeah,
before we wrap? No, yeah, Leah, go ahead.
Yeah. But wrapping up, because I'm super excited. I finally got to do my workout yesterday. But I would love to just talk a little bit about me being done with my 3-day refresh, the results that I had. I mean, I feel so good after. So I decided to do the 3-day refresh. I mean, a few girls on my upline team were doing it as well. And I said, you know what? I need to do it, because coming off of Classic, coming off of the competition, and reintroducing all of those sweets and wheat back into my diet, I just felt the sugar, I swear it was like cocaine for me. Like, I was so addicted to it at that point that every single day I kept having it, even though I knew that it was bad for me. I mean, we have in our garage, we've got candy still left over from Easter, and I was like, and the whole time from Easter until competition, it was in my garage. It was actually right next to where I would work out, and I was fine. I didn't need it. But once I reintroduced that sugar, I couldn't stay away from that.
Yeah.
And I wanted it so bad. One night I was at home. One of my kids was at grandma's, so I just had one kid, and then my husband was out doing something. I don't know where he was. But I was up watching a movie with one of my kids, and I wanted it so bad, and I felt guilty not letting my kid have it while I'm sitting there eating it. So literally at 9:30 at night, while we're watching a movie, I let my kid eat a bunch of candy while I was eating a bunch of candy, and that's not something that I would normally do. So that's how bad my sugar cravings were. And then also reintroducing the wheat, I realized that I need to not, I can have wheat here and there, but not as much as I had for every single one of my carbs that I was eating throughout the day. So I needed something. So I made this decision to do the 3-day refresh and just go all in and stick with it. So when I got the package, for one, I forgot that we didn't have caffeine for the whole 3 days. So that was really rough for me, because I am a huge coffee drinker, huge Energized drinker. So there was a lot of exhaustion from that. And then I also had kind of a little panic about the quantity of food going into it. And I forgot.
You went from eating a lot of food,
Yeah. A lot of food to, when I looked at it, I was like, oh shit, this is not a whole lot of food. So I was mentally kind of panicking, and I said, okay, I'm just going to trust the process. And then also there's no carbs. I mean, you're going to get some carbs in the fruit that you're having. And then also with, I think the supplements probably have, some natural sugars in that. So that's going to give you some carbohydrates, but
then you're having PTSD because you had to deplete yourself of carbs right before the competition.
Yeah, so I was but then at the same time, I kind of was like, okay, well, if I did it then, I knew that I could do it, for these 3 days. So going through the process, the first day was, I think, the most rough. And we always tell people, start it on a weekend or days that you're not working, especially for me, thankfully. And that first day, I think, was Wednesday. I kind of took the whole day off from working, and I mean, I did a little bit of work, but I let the kids kind of do their own thing. And I slept almost half the day. I slept in, and then I took a good long nap because I just couldn't handle that crash from the no caffeine. I also bumped up my water intake because I was like, I know that's going to help. I had a really bad headache from it. But the quantity of food was actually not that bad. And you can go on there if you're like me, where quantity is more important than maybe picking certain foods, because the food lists on there and the portion sizes are different than what we're used to from the containers. So depending on the food, it's going to tell you how much to have. I kind of opted differently. And so I went for larger portions. So like I could have 5 spears of asparagus or 2 cups of spinach. And so I would go for the 2 cups of spinach because quantity, that was a lot more food. And yeah, so I mean, and your dinner portions are actually a lot more. So I would kind of sleep in a little bit later and then start that way. So I didn't have to wait the whole day without, feeling maybe hungry or anything like that. But all in all, I wasn't really too hungry. But let's see, I lost.
You lost like 4 pounds, didn't you?
Yeah, 4.4 pounds.
Nice.
And then I lost half an inch off of, but see, and it's different though, how I measure my waist, because I measure it above my belly button. And really where I feel, and I unfortunately, I didn't take any pictures afterwards because we are doing a yard sale this weekend. And so I had to get up early and I was like, I can't deal with trying to take pictures and do all of that. But I had more, here, let me see if I can show. So I do my measurement up here. Okay, so this consistently stays the same. It's this part that will pooch out when I get the blow. And so that's where I lost. I would say I probably did 2 inches. I don't know because I don't measure that portion. But to lose half an inch.
But yeah, you're feeling a lot less bloated.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Totally. Like I feel so good right now. And yesterday I did, and I do have to make sure that I watch myself because yesterday I did have some Halo Top, but I opted for the dairy-free option. But it's still, there was like caramel swirl in there and it was still almost like too much sugar. So I have to make sure, okay, I did those 3 days without the sugar. Don't go back because then you're going to get those cravings back. But I love it. I'm happy with it. I'm super excited. I hope it also keeps my allergies away. So I do the Ultimate Reset probably about every 6 months, and it gives me a temporary solution for my seasonal allergies. I noticed that they started to come back. Before the first time I did Ultimate Reset, I was taking 6 different allergy medications all at the same time to combat all of the pain and suffering that I was having. So let's see, it was like Zyrtec, Flonase, 2 different herbal stuff, the neti pot, and then also Benadryl at night, just to get some sort of relief, and it wouldn't make it all go away. I did Ultimate Reset for the 3 weeks, and then my allergy symptoms were gone.
When are you doing it next, the Ultimate Reset? Do you know?
We're doing it right after Lift 4. That's right. I forgot. Brain dead. But yeah, after
so
Lift 4.
In 8 weeks, because I'm going to be honest, I haven't done the Ultimate Reset before. Yeah. But I've wanted to. So maybe we'll do that. I'll do Lift 4, then I'll do the Ultimate Reset.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure if because that whole cleaning my system out, I don't know how it's going to be for those 3 days, if it's going to kind of make it a little bit easier, because I've noticed that they've came back. There was actually one night I had to take some Benadryl because I was like, I can't breathe. But yeah, so we'll do the Ultimate Reset then.
Nice.
I'll make sure to help you guys with any questions or anything. I've done it twice before. This is going to be my 3rd time. You don't do you can do like yoga light workouts, but because your calorie reduction is less, it's, you're really not going to be doing any intense workouts. But food wise, it kind of reminds me of 80-day obsession and just being prepared that way. I had to make sure that I packed my food wherever I went, because you have to eat certain foods. You have to eat what's there. The last 2 weeks you go full vegan, no caffeine for 3 weeks. So it's hard, but you can do it. If you can do 80-day obsession, you can do anything.
Literally.
Right.
Well, I'm really glad Michelle, I'm glad that you hopped on, and thank you for contributing to that, because I know that it's so funny how we all just happen to be struggling with something at the same time. It's kind of like how women, their periods sink sometimes when they spend a lot of time together. I don't mean to get graphic, guys.
No, I work in a hospital of mostly women. I think there's one man that works there, and so this literally works that way.
Oh
It's so true though. So I'm
Yeah.
grateful that we're all in this together, and I'm back. I'm in it with you guys. I needed a few days, and thank you for snorting while that was nice. This is Otis.
He's so cute.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much. And Otis says thank you too. So
Love you guys. I have to
love
go.
you.
eat
I know.
because I'm drank too much
I'm gonna
water.
go work out because I deserve it. I love you guys. Bye, Savannah. Mwah.
Say bye.
Rochelle, you guys are welcome to come over and play in the pool whenever you want. Just text me.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
I got to start getting out. Like, even the person I was talking to on the phone was like, so I know you've isolated yourself. You need to start doing things. Like, you don't have school this right now. Like, I have a next semester coming up, but you need to get out and actually socialize with adults. And I'm like, adults?
Who are adults? No,
I do that at work, but I mean, outside of work, like getting that
yeah.
ability to do something just outside of it, so good for the mental health part. And I love, I love reading books and stuff like that, or I'll listen to Alan Watts, but it's definitely having like these type of calls and stuff like that. And
Oh yeah,
having that
you can come over
conversation.
whenever you want. Bring her because we've got the pool, the hot tub, so much room. Yeah, just text me.
Yeah, and I'm gonna start. Faye gave me a couple of her ultimate reset ones, and then I was gonna try. I looked at the ultimate refresh or the 3-day refresh and stuff like that. Now that Leah's talked about it too, those are definitely things that I'm interested in, kind of looking into and figuring out when I can make these work. And then, so I have a question with the Lift 4, the new one that's out. Is that out as of tomorrow, or is it today?
Yeah. Well, if you got the early access, which I think is like $30 for coaches for early access, because it comes out in October, I think. But if you paid for the early access, then it released. Well, it's supposed to release tomorrow, but they actually put the first week of the workouts in on demand to yesterday. So
okay, awesome.
And it's 30 minutes, 4 days a week, so you have 3 days off. And it's a combination of lifting weights and then HIIT, which is high intensity interval training. So you do lifting, you do the lift part, then you do some high intensity interval training, you do a set of abs, and then that's it. You're done. And
how do you like it?
What?
Have you tried it yet? How do you like it?
So they have they did the B4 Lift 4, so they gave you 4 20-minute like sample workouts. And they were so great. They've been great. You should come over and do one with me.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get it set up.
Yeah, you're welcome to come and come to my house and try, and work out with me. We're just chilling. So
okay.
Of course.
Yeah, I took till Tuesday off, so I might hit you up, but I mean my weekends are pretty much clear.
Good. Then yeah, you're welcome.
For anybody that is doing Lift 4 or starting any program on Monday, make sure that you do your weight, your measurements, and your before pictures.
And pictures, yeah.
You do not have to share
today.
You don't have to share. I do my, and I think I'm different than everybody else, but I always do my before pictures and weight and measurement Monday morning because I do it all first thing in the morning. I go to the bathroom, I do all of that stuff. But because I want to be like at my leanest and everything. But your pictures, you do not have to share them with the team if you don't feel comfortable with that yet. But you need it for just even your own personal measurements and trackings. And then also when you're done with the program, for one, you want to see them side by side because you're going to be able to see your progress. Yeah. But then for two, you can submit them to Beachbody. For the Beachbody Challenge, you can enter to win $500 a month, like $1,000 or I don't know. I don't even know what all the
prizes are. There's a bunch of ways to like earn money for.
Yeah, but you could, you know that they give, what is it, $100,000 to 2 people every year? Yeah. Like, let's get some free money to you guys.
Great. Yeah. All right, my loves. Well, have a great afternoon. Mwah.
Love you guys.
Bye, love.
I'm Catherine.
Yeah.
Do you have a trampoline at your house?
I don't. I can throw you into the pool if you'd like. You could use me as the trampoline. I'll just throw you in the pool.
No.
But I don't have a trampoline, unfortunately. I wish I did. I'd be out there right now.
Yeah.
You say your bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Goodbye.
Michelle.
You could-